What's up everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to another video. Today we will be taking a look at the Series S spreadsheet with Series X, with respect to Series X, and we'll be comparing. It'll probably help you decide whether you should be getting a Series S or an X. Now obviously this assumes you have decided to get an Xbox and not build a PC for around the same price or get another console like PS5. And that's not going to be a video about that because you may be getting to, like, you may like the backwards compatibility, the Game Pass. Obviously one of the main reasons why anyone would buy an Xbox is to have the Game Pass, because the Game Pass has a service. It's just a huge value for money service. People like things that are valuable. Yeah, so people like value. So let's move on. Enough about that. We will focus on one very important aspect that you should consider before you're buying Series S or an X. Now, both consoles will run games at decent resolutions, 900p and above. So it's already greater than 720p. But that's only for the newer gen games or the relatively newer gen games. Like the Medium, which is a new gen game, it runs at 900p, 30 FPS. Actually 1080p 30 FPS on Xbox Series S. It has a variable frame rate, so it goes up to 60 FPS when the resolutions drop to 900p in the gameplay. I think the ray tracing elements are only 30 FPS. But on Series X, it is locked at 60 FPS, runs buttery smooth, and it is actually a very stunning. It is a game which focuses more on visuals and scenery, so definitely Series X was going to have a huge advantage there. But that's the point. If you're looking to at the maximum fidelity, Series X is the console to go, which brings me to my next argument, that if you just want to get the value, I think Series X is still at the better value, not Series S. And here's why. Frankly, I think people think that they should get a Series X if they want more storage. I don't think that's an issue anymore. We have the 1 TB Series S, and we also have the expansion card on sale right now. It's on a huge sale. Even WD is making them, so by default it has been discounted. But if you want high fidelity, which I think you would want, because if you want to get the most value out of your console, you would want it to use at least for 2 or 3 years. I had a Series S before I sold it. I think I sold it in 2021 because I was interested in getting another graphics card, and PC is the best platform to play games, period. It runs games from 1999. I'm running games that were released pre-2004 with mods, and they run super smooth. Dungeon Siege 1 is a very fantastic example of it. I have 4K textures in that. Performance mode. Okay, backwards compatibility is insane on PC. But it's decent on Xbox as well. So if you want to play the backwards compatible game on 4K, still Series X is doing much better there because it runs the 1X enhanced versions of the game. Now obviously not 1X enhanced versions were not all 60 FPS. For example, Red Dead Redemption. By the way, this is an exclusive. Red Dead Redemption is a console exclusive. It runs only at 30 FPS. It says 1440p, but it feels more like 1080p. I'm not sure whether it is running the it has not been updated. So most likely this will be 1080p. And the Red Dead Redemption for Xbox Series X is 4K and auto HDR and 60 FPS. Let's check this properly. So this, sorry, by the way, I think I made a mistake. Red Dead Redemption does not have 60 FPS. Red Dead Redemption 2 has 60 FPS. So another point that you should consider if you're planning to buy a Series X versus the Series S is if you're planning to save money and investing in a lot of other things. Because for me, for example, I also have to record the games, the capture card itself is going to cost a lot. It's almost half the price of Series S. So if you, this is actually very important, because although Series X as a standalone console is more valuable, but the price usually adds up. You'll buy an expansion card that is $100, $124. The capture card is another $150. So if you're planning to buy a headset, another $40 or $80. So price adds up quickly. So if you're wanting to save money and don't care about the FPS, don't care about the resolution, Series S is the console for you. It's the cheapest console, no brainer. It will play next gen games in 30 to 60 FPS and resolutions between anywhere to 800p, like the Red Dead Redemption 864p, to 1200p. Some of them do run on 4K. So that's it, and let's check my notes whether, yeah, so let's examine some of the consoles that you will some of the exclusives that you will be getting on a Series S or an X, because it's important. Let's take a look at Fable first. Fable, if you're planning to play Fable, I think Series S is okay, because it's showing it has a performance mode now. It says yes to the performance mode. I'm surprised, because when I had a Series S, it had only 30 FPS. So better do this before buying the Series S or an X. Decide in advance which games you will be playing this year or the next year and the year after that. And then buy the console, because that will help you save a lot of money. For playing the exclusives, and Xbox does not have new exclusives. They're focusing on Gamepass and bringing third-party titles like Lies of P. They are not interested in doing the exclusives. I think they are putting their games on PC, for example, but they are totally not interested in doing that. And so Fable will run at 60 FPS, and we already checked Valhalla will run at 30 FPS in Series S, but will run at 4K in Series X. Let's examine another game, that is Hellblade. Hellblade runs at 60 FPS. It does have a performance mode. So there's that, but I'm not sure the next Hellblade, which is going to come in 2024, will run at 60 FPS in Series S. They will probably just keep a fidelity mode, 30 FPS, 1080p or 1440p. This happens sometimes. I think in Starfield they did that. Unfortunately, the Starfield is missing from this. I guess this was updated, the last updated before the release of Starfield, but that's okay. We can assume that because Starfield was having problems running this on 60 FPS on Series S, the very next gen games might still have a problem running things on 60 FPS on Series S, but they will run regardless. I'm talking about very next gen games, because Hogwarts Legacy, for example, does have a performance mode. And they could always drop the resolution to 900p if they truly wanted to focus on optimizing things. For example, let's take a look at Perfect Dark, which is also another exclusive. It only has 30 FPS. And while it is available on Game Pass and it's a pretty decent game, it is an exclusive. I don't know why it does not have a performance mode yet. That is somewhat of a problem, and it doesn't affect all games, because if we check Hydrophobia is another exclusive Microsoft. Hydrophobia has only a 30 FPS mode, but on Series X at least it runs in 4K. It must be an upscaling, I know, because it's backwards compatibility. At least you get a single new gen feature, which is 4K, and it's denied on Series S. So Darksiders is only 30 FPS, but has a performance mode. Oh, I see. Darksiders, well, good job here. Darksiders 3, bad job, because 900p, 30 FPS, easily you can achieve 60 FPS at 1440p on this console, but for some reason they did not optimize it. By the way, speaking of Darksiders 3, runs at 4K. 60 FPS on the Series X. Darksiders 3. Yep. 4K 60 FPS. So it is also compatible with old game. I think Darkness was released, I think, in 2010 or 2011. While it is compatible, you get only 30 FPS and there's no 4K optimization. Absolutely nothing. A lot of games that are compatible run only on 720p 30 FPS. So if you like 60 FPS, I would probably suggest to go for Series X. Because at least on the relatively newer gen games or that were going to run on 60 FPS on Xbox One X, with the One X enhancements, they will at least have 60 FPS. I don't think it will have a lot of 120 FPS modes. Gears 5 has a 120 FPS mode for some reason. That is a good achievement. That is a good achievement. Yep. But let's look at the Gears 5 then here in... Okay, here it is. 120 FPS, 4K plus. So again, there is Series X is always going to have an advantage over Series S when it comes to either frame rate or the resolution. If you're planning to, I would say so to summarize, if you're playing to save money and enjoy and want to play good titles like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Hogwarts Legacy, some relatively newer gen titles like The Medium, Red Dead Redemption 2, etc., make sure you check the resolution, because I don't think it is going to run Red Dead Redemption 2 properly. It runs it at 30 FPS. Even Red Dead Redemption 1, it has only 30 FPS mode in Series S, because it does really run the games. All of them which are going to run on Series X will run on Series S. So there is no differentiation apart from the resolution and the FPS. If you're planning to save money, a lot of money, because I think money adds up, you would want to have the expansion card for Series S to have the higher the quick resume feature and everything, which actually works better on Series S. According to some videos, the load times in Series S are faster by milliseconds, but still noticeable. So that's it, I think, for this video. And of course, if you want me to make more such videos, I will be getting an Xbox Series X soon, where I will be testing a lot of the resolutions. And I have tried to buy a new hardware, but the RTX 4080 and 4070 are just so expensive. So I don't know, I mean, being a PC gamer for a really long time, I thought I never was going to buy a console. I don't think I will get a PS. It's way too expensive. The games are just way too expensive. And there are no free games, no Gamepass, like subscription models. So I like to buy games only from Steam, because I know I will be able to increase the resolution and FPS as soon as I get the better hardware. And on Steam, the games are really cheap. Some games are available for less than $4, $5, AAA games, easily. Older Assassin's Creed, everything. You already should know this. But but finally I caved, and this time Xbox Series X was on a huge discount, so I bought it. And it was a close call whether it was Series S as a backup console, as a backup hardware to run games, or Series X, or probably a handheld. Because at the end of the day, I do already have a PC for editing videos, as you already know. But I ended up getting the Series X because I think it would be nice to enjoy some of the latest features like auto HDR. I have a really good HDR monitor, so I want to see the auto HDR, the quick resume, in its full glory. So you could say that. Other than that, I do think Xbox has a really good Game Pass service. It's a no-brainer for me. I rarely play, I really rarely own the games. I mostly buy them on Steam. And therefore, it's okay for me to play a game and just move on. Okay, I get all the achievements, I move on to a completely different game. And if I really want to buy a game, and very rarely do I buy a game, I buy it on Steam. And so I have very few physical games. Those are um very old games that I have from back in the day when I used to buy physical discs for the PC. I have the Assassin's Creed, GTA, and games like this because, well, those were the really good games back in the day for PC. GTA, Assassin's Creed, Darksiders, Witcher, these games. Speaking of Witcher, I think Witcher is getting a remake, Witcher 1. So stay tuned for that. I think Witcher 1 is one of the remakes that I'm waiting for, and Gothic 1 remake. Now that is going to be very interesting. Okay, of course I will buy them on sale. I have already owned Witcher 1 and I've played it. I really like the game. The only problem was that it's way outdated compared to, let's say, Witcher 2, which is a boring game. It's not as good as Witcher 3 or 1, but at least it's not completely outdated when it comes to fidelity. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you want me to make more such videos, let me know in the comments and try to improve. So obviously let me know whether you would like me to improve some things. Yeah, so offer your opinions in the comments and obviously like and subscribe.